Let's talk about watermelon. Watermelon is an extremely popular fruit. It is also a polarizing fruit. Let's examine this further. Contrary to popular belief, swallowing watermelon seeds is not harmful. Facts: watermelon's history dates back to over 5,000 years ago. Hailing from southern Africa, watermelon contains 92% water. Due to its ability to store water, it was deemed a prized item. The watermelon was used by indigenous people in the Kalahari Desert region. Interestingly enough, watermelon was not sweet like it is today. It actually had a bitter taste. The watermelon eventually made its way to Egypt, where it began its transformation into having a sweeter flesh. This allowed the watermelon to begin to transform from only a source of water to an actually enjoyable food. Watermelon was being cultivated in India by the 7th century and China by the 10th century. The Moors introduced watermelon into the Iberian Peninsula in the 13th century, and from there it spread throughout southern Europe. Now let's talk about the racism involved with watermelon. Stereotypical imagery involving black people in food began to surface in the early 1900s. One of the first images was back in 1869. A black and white cartoon depicted black people face deep in watermelon. Newspapers and magazines began perpetuating these images widely. They printed them in photos, as cartoons, and also in product ad spaces. Exaggerated depictions of black people eating watermelon, aimed solely to demean us for simply enjoying this fruit. Fact: watermelon was actually a path to economic freedom for the formerly enslaved people. Now it makes sense why they concentrated their efforts to depict black people a certain way, right? While enslaved black people were forced into farming watermelon, once quote unquote free, they could use watermelon as a source of income by harvesting them and selling as vendors. The latter was viewed as a threat to Southern whites in the Jim Crow era South. So what did they do? They went full throttle on depicting negative images and equating watermelon to poverty. Ain't that something? They made it a goal to dehumanize black people and watermelon to prevent their success as vendors. To this day, that depiction is still prevalent in many areas. Fried chicken is also a common food that shares the negative light as it pertains to black people. Giving into the lie only gives it power. The long-term effects of that effort still remains, which is why so many black people become enraged when white institutions try to honor a day or a month with fried chicken and watermelon, because we know that it's not being done in good faith, but with the racist undertones. Still not sure we can take back this power? Well, let's take a look at a couple more facts. Watermelon is 92% water, so it supports hydration, and it is also low in calories. Watermelon also contains a variety of nutrients like potassium, magnesium, vitamin A, and C. It is also rich in citrulline, an amino acid that may help move blood through your body and can lower your blood pressure. How to pick a good watermelon? Go with dark, dull, and heavy, large, pale yellow field spot, and knock on it lightly. Ripe watermelons have a deeper sound. Maybe it is time to take back the watermelon.